Well, hello there. We meet again, my friend. Thank you very much for meeting me here. My name is Gavin. This is my channel. This is a true crime channel. We like to cut through fluff. We like to cut through sensationalism, get right down to the nitty gritty, and we do that by checking out documents, audio, video from case files, and so forth. Today, we are going to be looking at a PDF file, a report that is very grown up here, guys. I hemmed and hawed over whether or not we would talk about this on the channel tonight. I decided to do it, but I want to warn you. This is grown up material. Okay, this is stuff that kiddos should not be watching. We are going to be cleaning it up a little bit because this is YouTube. We're not going to be using certain words, but we are talking about the essay of Madeline Soto and how investigators are planning on proving it. As you guys know, Madeline was a 13-year-old Kissimmee, Florida girl, teenager. She had just turned 13. She had had her birthday party at her grandmother's house the day before she went missing. And I'm using missing very loosely because she really didn't go missing. She was murdered and her remains were hidden. The man who is on trial, well, the trial hasn't started, but the man who is charged in her death and her murder is her mother's on again, off again boyfriend named Stephen Stearns. Mr. Stearns is a 37-year-old man, or at least he was when he was arrested. He might have turned 38 by now. But we're about a year into this case. And I guess that's her body was found on March 1st of 2024. So we're just over a year. And this is very, very grown up. So just for I guess if you do not know about this case, this is Madeline. This is her mother. Her name is Jennifer Soto. I have some issues with Jennifer Soto. Many of you have issues with Jennifer Soto. And then Jennifer had an on again, off again boyfriend named Stephen Stearns. We have major issues with this guy because not only was he charged in her murder, he was also charged with 60 counts of battery, of the nature of, he was essaying Madeline. That's what was happening. And he was taking photos and videos. So, okay. I think I've given you the skinny on the case. Now I just want to give you another heads up, man. Do not watch this if you're kind of squeamish about this, because we're going to be talking about pretty grown-up subjects today. Hey, before we do though, I want to let you know that tonight at 8:30 Eastern, so an hour from now, I'm going to be a guest with Josh Ritter over on Courtroom Confidential. So when we're finished with this live stream, I don't think we're going to go very long tonight. This is a pretty short document that we're going to be going over. But at 8:30, I'm going to be joining Josh over on Courtroom Confidential. We're going to be talking about the Kevin Mullins murder, right? We talked about his case at length last night. So, of course, Judge Mullins, his sheriff, Mickey Steins, is charged in his murder. So we're going to be talking about that over on Courtroom Confidential. Okay. Join me, if you will, over at my Adobe Acrobat. This window needs to be moved. I know you guys can't see that, but I'm going to move it. Okay, so this is a report from the Orange County Sheriff's Office. This report has been out there for a good long time. It just so happens that it was also included in the recent document dump from the 9th District State's Attorney's Office. So I was going through trying to find new things, and I realized while this is not a new thing, there's stuff that I haven't covered on the channel. Okay. So before we get into that, but do you guys remember Do you guys remember this? This is Mr. Stearns on February 28th. While they had been transported, Stephen Stearns and Jennifer Soto had been transferred to the Orange County Sheriff's Office. While there, they were split up. Mr. Stearns was placed into this room that we're looking at right now. Jennifer Soto was in a different room. I don't know specifically which room because we only have audio. This, by the way, the blur, I added to this video because they gave us the video. The only redactions they put on this video were like little black blocks covering up cell phones. But yeah, what they're doing here is they're examining and comparing Mr. Stearns' member down there with photos that they got from his Google Drive that allegedly, I'm going to say, or police say, depict him abusing Madeline. Okay, so they've got some detectives there, some forensics people there. They are getting the photos that they have. They're comparing them. They're twisting his junk around, looking at it, making sure that they can compare. And then there is a photographer there that is taking pictures. Okay, now obviously it's not just this video that was produced by the Orange County Sheriff's Office, also a report, and that's what this report is here. Okay, we have, I think, 6 pages of the report. A couple pages are missing, but it's a report that is kind of a supplemental, so it covers a whole bunch of different things, right? Okay, so here this person gave scene security, executed search warrant, so on and so forth. And then I want to come down to this area, the Orange County Sheriff's Office Central Operations. Okay, this is going to be short, and I'm going to be very careful. I'm going to be using YouTube appropriate words here. Okay, and I want to be respectful to Maddie. But at the same time, this is instructive. This teaches us something. It tells us a little bit about how they're building their case. It makes me more confident that the case is rock solid. And so while the description is very personal, it's also very forensic in nature. So I hemmed and hawed about whether I should share this or not, but I'm going to. Okay. All right. There's some redactions. Redacted. I went to the Orange County Sheriff's Office Central Operations Building. While there, I maintained security outside of an interview room where Stearns was located and was waiting to be interviewed. And that was this time, right? Obviously, I've just cut out a few minutes here, but he wasn't naked during the whole interview. He was just sitting in the room. Okay. KPD detectives interviewed Stearns. So these are Kissimmee police. And I monitored a portion of the interview electronically from a room nearby. At the conclusion of the interview, I assisted Kissimmee Police Department detectives with the collection of photographs, clothing, and DNA evidence from Stearns' person based on a signed warrant they had. I'm going to keep on going here, but remember we learned in an audio interview with Jennifer Soto that there was a little bit of jurisdictional, there was a question as to whose jurisdiction the case was in. Had Madeline actually gone missing from the school, it would have been Orange County's case. But because she went missing from the apartment, that is the Kissimmee PD's case. That's why we have, this kind of wrangling. Okay. So, but they're cooperating. They cooperated very well from what I can tell from all of the reports. Okay. The reporter says, I located a black freckle or mark on Stern's member that was visible in some of the photography videos found while examining the photographs videos of Stern's SAing Madeline. So I had gotten so many questions, guys. I'd gotten so many questions when I released this video, wrong button. When I released this video and we talked about this video, I had put this blur up there. But I've seen the video. I have the original video, and I had so many questions asking me about, like, there were rumors about disfigurement and like birth defects and stuff like that had to do with Mr. Stern's member. And I kind of laughed about it, but I do know how rumors get going and they grow, right? And so I didn't respond to most of those, but I do want you to know that there wasn't a birth defect. There wasn't like this major thing that made his member more recognizable than any other, which some people had asked, because in earlier reports it had said he had a very recognizable something on his member, right? What we learned here is it was a black freckle or mark on his member that was visible in some of the photographs, videos found while examining the photographs, videos of Stern's essaying Madeline. In the photograph used to compare the mark, Stearns is wearing a red and white Deadpool shirt, which was seen in multiple photographs where Maddie was being SA'd. Now that made me think, if you go over to my website, that is not my website, that is YouTube. If you go to my website and go to Madeline's case page, we have all sorts of photos that have been released. Now, you guys, most of you know, holy cow, what did I do to my screen here? I did something weird. All right, let's do this. I don't know what happened there. Goodness sakes. All right, let me fix this so that you guys can see it. All right, there we go. If you go to Madeline's case page, there are all these photographs. I spent a little time looking for a red Deadpool shirt. I didn't find it, but you guys know that I spent all day today covering court hearings, sentencing and plea hearings. So, and that was far away in a different county. And then I had to run back here and prepare for this. So I wasn't able to spend tons of time, but it would be interesting to me. Maybe Jess, maybe you could look through and see if you can find a red Deadpool shirt somewhere in these photographs. I would love to see if you find that. And again, there are, like, these are the contents of the car. I think there's a red shirt, but anyway, I would love to see if you guys can find the red Deadpool shirt that they say that he was wearing. I wasn't able to find it, but anyway, okay, getting back over here, this is the part that is, just want to be very careful because we're going to be talking about Madeline's person and her body as depicted in these images where she's being SA'd by Mr. Stearns. Okay, so I just want to be very careful here and very respectful. This is a little girl who lost her life after 5 years of being abused. I recognize that, and I don't take this lightly, what we're about to read. And it's a very short paragraph. I just want you guys to know that I think it's important. Forensically, I think that we can, well, as spectators even, we can just learn the what they have on this guy to solidify the case. They have the black freckle mark on his member that they were able to compare to photos and then take photos of. And then here is a little bit more, okay? Orange County Sheriff's Office's CSI Ivory Smith collected the evidence. This collection was conducted on the same audio video recording as Stern's interview, which we have looked at. At some point while Stearns was in the interview room, I took a vape pen from him, which I discarded in the trash at KPD's direction. And I actually had completely missed that, but it is in the video. I was contacted through my website and somebody pointed that out. I had not seen that. He was sneaking drags on his vape pen and like holding it in and just trying to get rid of the vapor once he did exhale. He was trying to be very, very sneaky as he was vaping in there. Okay, here's the part that I just want to be very, very careful about, okay? Evidence examination. At one point while examining the photographs of Maddie being essayed to ensure all potential evidence was collected, I located a photograph of Stearns with his face visible and his tongue on presumably Maddie's, I'm going to say chest, okay? It gives the title of the photograph, the file name, and was found in an album full of photographs of CSAM material. So we don't just have, or police don't just have the red Deadpool shirt and the black freckle, but they have at least one photograph that shows his face doing what he did to Maddie. Which, that makes me feel, beyond just the horror that we have known about for over a year now of the life that poor little Madeline had to lead and still was able to put a smile on her face sometimes. I am glad that I'm so glad for the police officers that have to do that really, really hard work. It's tough. All right. Let's go to your comments here, guys. As you know, if you put GF in your comment, that will help me to see it here on my end. Let me just refresh my system, see if I can see what you guys are saying. Oh, let's see. First, let's start with Susan from Texas. Susan says, thank you for doing this very difficult work. Well, thank you, Susan. This is stuff that is uncomfortable. And I don't want to, I know this is a crass statement, but I'm not going to use the term. I don't want my channel to be a place where we just horrify one another. Telling the most terrible stories of victimization and crime. I don't want to do that. I would like to learn things. And we've learned a couple things tonight, but you're right. It is hard. And for me, it's not nearly as hard for me and for you as it is for those that are in there doing the work. Susan from Texas, thank you very, very much for the super chat. I deeply appreciate it. Beach Fairy says hello to the guppies. Autumn Doyle. Autumn has been a fanatic for 11 months. Our lead moderator. 11 months. Can you believe that, Autumn? That is awesome. That is awesome. STL cards. Gavin, please don't show this monster's picture. Hey, I have made the decision that I will show his photo. There are crimes where people are seeking notoriety. In those kinds of crimes, I do not show the perpetrators or the suspects or the defendant's photo. In cases like this one, while it is uncomfortable for us to have to look at him, I think that he wants to just crawl in a hole, and I don't think he wants anybody to ever look at him ever again. And so I'm very comfortable showing his photo. That's just what I think. That is me. Who else do we have here? Bree is a fanatic for 2 months. Awesome job, Bree. And then Tanya says in her super chat, thank you for giving her a voice. Thank you, Tanya. I appreciate you taking care of me like that. Let's see if there are a couple of others. Beach Fairy says, unfortunately, it'll be nearly 1 a.m. I'll have to watch the replay. Well, we love the replay crew just as much as we love the live chat. Thanks for watching. Sally is a new follower. Thank you, Sally. I appreciate that. Emily doing the hard work of the moderator. Thanks, Emily, for taking care of our live chat like that. Cindy says, thank you for the blur. Yes, you are most welcome. This is I don't mind showing this video because I think that, well, I already said, I think he is not all enthusiastic about all of us seeing that sort of thing. Emily says, Gavin, Stefan Stearns equals dill hole. Indeed. Jess says, is this new document on your website? It is not yet, Jess. I've got about 20 documents that I need to put up on the site. You guys know, let's go back over to the site again. There's a section with all these documents that my patrons have access to. Where are they? They're all these here. But what happens, Jess, is when they release us new documents, they basically just add stuff into a folder that we already have access to, and it's very difficult to find what is new. So each time we have to download the entire thing and go through it and compare it to that which we already have. So I think that I have found about 20 documents that I am behind on adding to this case page, but I will get to it as quickly as I can. And I appreciate your patience on that. Let's bring up Maddie's photo. Schmoopy, Gavin, could you see what they were focusing on? Yes. Yeah. Yes, I could. But not in high resolution, right? That camera in there, the resolution that they gave it to us in was 1280 by 720, so 720p. But it was very grainy, very low quality. You can see that they are twisting and lifting and like stretching and doing all the ings to Mr. Stearns' member, but you can't, I couldn't see the actual freckle. Even if I thought I'd seen it, you can't like zoom up on it or anything like that. We just kind of have to go by faith that they indeed did find that. Let's see. Thank you for the comment. One man's trash. Gavin, my boys call it their mister. Well, you can imagine having all those people in there. Yeah, it's that would be uncomfortable for anyone. This is not a compliment. But he takes it like a champ. He does. He just stands there the entire time. And I'm telling you, that is not comfortable. And I don't know. I don't know if they did it on purpose where they have both sexes in the room while they're doing that, just to kind of rub it in a little bit. But yeah, he just stood there and did it. In fact, one of the ladies said, "Don't get squirrely on me or you'll be eating carpet. Do you understand?" Yes, ma'am. It was funny. Tanya says, my boyfriend laughed so hard when Stefan Stearns was manhandled. He indeed was manhandled. A. Heineman, you are most welcome for the blur. I don't know if you guys want the original video or not. I'm happy to put it up on Patreon. I haven't done that yet, but I'm happy to put it up on Patreon if you guys want to see it. I have the almost 6-hour version, and then which 4 hours of it is him just waiting in the room. And then I have about a 2-hour version of it that I edited so that you don't have to just sit there and watch. We've watched it on the channel. We just haven't watched it unblurred. In fact, come to think of it, I think I would have to re-edit it. I could put up the 6-hour video though. I could put up the whole thing unedited. You guys let me know in the live chat if that's something that you want me to do. Okay. Stace says, I am the rewatch crew. Awesome. Leslie says her so-called mother you're talking about, Jennifer Soto, needs to be arrested. I am of the same mind. I have been hopeful, and I maintain hope that there will be an arrest eventually. I've told you that I'm aware of a case here in Western Pennsylvania where a man beat a toddler to death, and the mother was eventually charged, and it appears that she's pleaded guilty to some charges, not of murder, but of concealing the whereabouts of a corpse and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that will happen here in Jennifer Soto's case as well. You know what? I'm going to keep this up because I think it's perfect. Christina Rios, caught alive. I'm glad you did. Dorothy says, Stefan Stearns was a waste. Along with being an evil monster, he's 38. No job, lives with parents or girlfriend, plays games, and oh wait, that's all. Plays games all the time. I mean, I don't think that your characterization is all that far off. I think it's spot on, actually. He is a bit of a waste of skin. Brenda, I caught this one, his freckle member. That's funny. Dorothy, definitely not a beauty mark. Yeah, he. Now all I can think of is Mr. Stearns' member and like Cindy Crawford. I'm trying to come up with some kind of pun, but you did it the best. Not a beauty mark. That is funny. So funny. Jamie, did you hear the part where he asked the forensic lady if they were laughing at him? No, I did not. Jess says, is the original video on Patreon? It is not, but I'll put it up tonight. It'll be later tonight because I'm going to be on Courtroom Confidential with Josh. But yeah, I will put it up there for you guys. Let's see if there's anything else. Where can we see these photos? Can't afford the paid stuff right now. Yeah, Beach Fairy, the photos are all available to everybody. You don't have to be a patron. You don't have to pay anything. You can see all the photos. Just go to gavinfish.com. And what you do when you're on my homepage, this is what it'll look like when you get to my page. Click on cases, then click on Maddie's photo, and that will take you into the case page where you can see all the videos I've done. The audio files are for my patrons. These files are for my patrons. But all of the photos, of which there are probably 1,000, those are all available for you to see. There's, with the documents and the audio files, the raw video files, I just reserve those for my patrons as a way to say thank you for supporting me. Jess is on it. You're going to look for that shirt. I hope you, if there's anybody who can find it, it'll be you. Beach Fairy says, Gavin, even without stating it, your compassion and empathy is clear in the way you present your content. Thank you. I try to be a good egg. Thank you. Kay Turrieta, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, let's bring up Miss Maddie. When Jen saw the pics of SA and asked to see more, do you think she was getting off on them or just wanted to let Stephen Stearns know what evidence they had. I don't know. I don't think that she derived satisfaction or pleasure from it. But the second part is that is possible. That is possible. She wanted to be able to tell maybe only Stephen Stearns, maybe her family members, maybe his parents, what it is that they have. It's possible. Good question. Let me just see if there's a couple more. C3 says, Gavin, I've looked for your Facebook group more than once, cannot seem to find it. If you go back to the website, C3, and click on this little icon right here, that will open up the fish tank. And you can join us there, and we would love it if you would. Bring Maddie back up. Get me back over here. Kevin Troy, Gavin, I doubt very much he was taking it like a champ. He was screaming and wailing on the inside. He can't stand anyone knowing what he did to Maddie. He probably wanted to die. Okay, he probably wanted to die. Yeah, he remained calm on the outside. And that actually might go to, Kevin, thanks for this comment. That might actually kind of go to how, this isn't the right word, but professional he was as a predator. As in practiced. I think he was able to hide his emotions pretty well. And maybe that's what made him such a good predator. What a great insight, Kevin. Thank you very much for that. Beach Fairy is going to help on the search for that Deadpool shirt. Susan Freudenstein Fernandez says, I just watched you on Court TV. You look dapper. Well, thank you. I wondered when they were going to put that on YouTube. I thought it was tonight, like at 7:15 it came out. I had to put on the ascot for that. Goatee for you. Was he cold? No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I'm just going off of memory. I don't want to go back and verify, okay? Fairy Link, this is your first live, Fairy Link. Welcome. Thank you for being a fan. And I do my best. Thanks so much. Isabella says, if Stefan gets the DP, will it happen right away or will it take some years? I'm a little confused on that process. Isabella, in the United States, DP is a contentious topic. It appears to be like on a political, I'm not taking a political stance here, but the politics of the penalty is divided pretty evenly. And so what it comes down to is on a state by state basis, some states will and some states will not issue DP. There are some states that still have it on the books, like the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, where I live, have it on the books, but they have not executed anybody in 30 years, maybe more. I think it was the 70s, come to think of it. Anyway, in the state of Florida is a very conservative state. It is a state that does have DP. It is a state that is looking to expand that penalty to people who abuse children in the way that Mr. Stearns abused children. But I noticed that they are not seeking that in this case, maybe because they don't want the case to make it to the Supreme Court. Anyway, to answer your question, in every state that I'm aware of, in every state where the penalty is on the books, there is an automatic appeals process. It typically makes it all the way to the state Supreme Court. It often makes it to the federal Supreme Court. It will take years and years. Now, Florida is quicker than other states. Texas, Florida, Utah, Idaho. These are states that tend to do things quickly, but by quickly, we're still talking a decade, 2 decades. It takes forever. Let's bring Maddie back up. Okay, it just refreshed, and I'm gonna not get to everybody's here, guys. Jeanette Brissett says, Gavin, I'm surprised his attorneys haven't filed motions to disqualify this. 2 men and 2 women in there, 3 women in there. Sounds like a rights violation to me. I think that they go by certification. If you are a forensic technician or if you are a certified law enforcement, you've taken your oath. I don't think that they really go by gender. King Timothy, Gavin, I stand by my opinion that his interrogation was terrible. Okay. Miranda Rulo says, speaking of Stefan being a pro predator, Jen as well. She asked to see more pictures to make sure the cops weren't bluffing. She wanted to know her next move. She's not dumb. Well, that's an interesting take. I don't know that she's a predator as much as she is. I mean, it's possible that she's also a predator. Sure, that's possible. I mean, it was you guys that kind of brought that possibility to my attention. It's possible. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Gail, what's taking this one along? Were there small details? Yep. I cannot find Gavin on Vinny. Anyone have a link? If you go over to the fish tank, there is a link in there. Maybe I can ask Autumn if there's not a link readily available. Autumn, if you're up for it, could you put one in there? Hey, welcome, Jamie Brooks. So glad that you have joined us. Thank you so much. Let's see. A couple more and then we're going to be done. Gavin, you do know that your hair needs to be 10 inches long to donate to Locks of Love. I do. Yeah. I'm going to donate mine as well, and I'm already over the 10-inch mark, but waiting for warmer weather. Well, good for you, Vicky. Yeah, I don't know how long it'll take, and it's driving me crazy, especially when I'm outside in the wind, but that's what I'm trying to do. Jess could not find the Deadpool shirt, but let's see. I feel as though they may not have included it if it was in the apartment because it sounded like it was uniform when it. Yeah, could be. Could be. All right, one more. Catherine Romero, first time on the live stream, but I'm proud to be part of the Rewatch crew. Catherine, you know we love the Rewatch crew. We love you all. Thank you very much. All right, guys. So here in about 20 minutes, I'm going to be over on Courtroom Confidential with Josh Ritter. So there's a link to that in the description down below. If you just feel like you can't get enough of me, it's perfectly fine if you've already had too much. But we are going to be talking about Mickey Steins and Kevin Mullins over there. So go ahead and join us. Click on the link below. We will be back tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Ooh, one more thing before we go. Skeeter, thank you very much. Let me bring that up. I just caught it before we signed off. Thank you very much for that super chat. I deeply appreciate it, Skeeter. But anyway, I will be back tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, which is my normal time. I try to do these videos every day, every weekday. Be sure again to check us out on Facebook over on the Fish Tank. I also have a page that you can check out and follow. I never really plug it, but you can check out my other page. You can check out my website. Check out Crime Cod while you're at it, man. Crime Cod, that's not it. Crime Cod is right here. So that is our true crime website. And you can sign up for the newsletter down at the bottom of crimecod.com or at the bottom, man. I'll be scrolling forever on Madeline's page. It's so much information is there. But if you go to the bottom of any page on my website, you will find it there. Okay? With that, guys, I'm going to bid you adieu. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.